what's good, what's good, what's good, what's good? Welcome to D. Smith and Let's Discuss. Welcome to today's session. The Joe Budden Podcast discussed the P. Diddy and Cassie case. So this is a long video. I'm just gonna just listen to it at the end, just briefly say something. But go listen to that podcast. They had a very good conversation, and in the end, it is split. But I hate when individuals, some on a cast, think they are the smartest people in the room and know everything. You don't know everything. You can have an opinion, but that's how I feel about it. You make your own choice, your own decision. But let's get into it. Let's go.
From the prosecution to the defense, so they've been really just kind of like hammering home certain points. You know, yes, we admit he's an abuse. However, the charges are, racketeering, transportation to engage in prostitution and sex trafficking. So they're trying to say that one doesn't equal the other. The one thing that I want to, kind of highlight is how consistent she has been with her testimony. She's been delivering her testimony with a very just the facts, ma'am kind of tonality, which I think is really important because obviously the questions that she's being asked to relive trauma, and she's being asked to read text messages that seemingly contradict her claims, and she's still doing it in a very succinct, very matter-of-fact manner.
And first and foremost, doing it while eight and a half.
I was about to say that. So the prosecution has now brought up a point to the judge, and they said this last night. They said that the defense is purposefully asking redundant questions over and over and over again to try to see if she won't go into labor, which will then, a mistrial will have to be called.
I call 100% cap on that. If there's one team that does not want her to go into labor, it's the defense team. Mm-hmm. I think the defense feels that she is pivotal, like vital to whatever it is they need to prove. I think they said she's the most important person in the case that we're trying to present. Yeah. I don't think they want her to go into labor.
Mm-hmm. And I think we saw that in the cross-examination yesterday. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because what she read in the cross-examination, because like you said, they forced her to read the text out loud. Yeah. I think at the very least they want to rattle her, because if you're rattled, you're not going to do as well in the chair. That's the idea.
Right.
But some of the stuff she had to read out loud, particularly the one from August 2009, when Puff asked her when she wanted the next sex encounter to be, mm-hmm. and she replied, "I'm always ready to freak off."
Okay. So I did mention this on my last video. Go check it out. Who do you believe, Cassie or Diddy? That's what it's going to come down to for the jurors. Who do you believe, Cassie or Diddy? The way the prosecution has painted Diddy as a monster, man.
And then 2 days later, she sent him an explicit message. She wrote back. He liked it, and then she responded, "Me too. I just want it to be uncontrollable." And so the defense is going to try to say that that's evidence that there was no coercion, that there was no control, that she just is a freak like him, mm-hmm. and they doing freaky shit, mm-hmm. and whatever else is going on, there's no charge there with that. And the prosecution is going to have to prove that despite those texts, mm-hmm. there was coercion, or because of those texts, there was coercion. Like she had to write that kind of stuff. Yeah. So that's a battle. So I agree. I think the the defense wants Cassie in that chair. That's the easiest. It's going to be hard because we know Dawn Richard is going to hit the stand next, and
Aubrey O'Day,
Jane Doe.
They're going to come for blood.
Yeah, mm-hmm. They know, and they kind of know what they're getting there. Yeah. But Cassie's the most vulnerable for this because she's the one who's been there the longest, mm-hmm. right? And it's harder to. And
she sets the stage for everything.
Absolutely.
She's the one that was
triggered everything. She triggered the whole thing.
She did. Yeah. She did. And so there's term that keeps coming up right now, and it's Stockholm Syndrome. And I think that it's applicable in this kind of situation. It's dependent on what you believe. And apparently, there's a lot of protesting going on at the courthouse right now. It is a madhouse. Media protesters on both sides of the aisle. It's complete and total chaos down there. There's people chanting in support of Diddy. There's people who are chanting in support of, their pursuit of justice, whatever that looks like. But it's just literally like what you believe. Do you believe that she's a victim and that she figured out a long time ago, based on his enforcers, his enforcement of the imprisoned life that she was forced to lead, that she just said some things to get along because you want to make your captor happy. You don't want to piss them off, kind of thing.
They named a lot of times where she wasn't captive though.
I think that what people need to understand of what captivity actually looks like, because captivity is not just physical, especially if you've been abused for a really long amount of time. There is an erosion of your sense of free will.
I agree. I mean, the kidnapped kids, sometimes they get sent to the store, they come back to the kidnap, they don't run, they go right back home again.
Okay, I want to let the...
So I hate when they give these extreme examples of kids. Cassie was not a kid. So you got to give a better example and stop giving these extreme examples to try to make a point. It makes no sense to me, man.
No, from this point forward, you might hear an opinion that contrasts from you guys'.
Absolutely, sure. There should be.
I just want to let people know.
Yeah. So
it's difficult to say that what y'all were saying when she eventually ended up not only escaping, but escaping with one of the handlers and paid with Puff's credit card.
Okay.
It's tough to paint you as someone that was trapped when we're gonna throw all these instances where you seemingly were away and you left for good. So if you were able to leave for good at one point, then what happened at all these other points of exit?
I can't speak on what...
And again, neither am I. I'm not inserting my opinion in this. Like Mel said, this is going to come down to, well, so far. Because I do think that the feds are going to prove their case. Mm-hmm. Like, let me start with... not only do I think the feds are going to prove their case, but I think that the standard is so low for what they have to prove. Yeah. They may have already proven it. Mm-hmm. I want to say that. But I don't think Cassie looked the greatest during Cross. So this comes down to, do you believe that she was being sex trafficked, or do you believe that she was in an abusive, drug-infested, toxic relationship?
I think it is the sex traffic part. Part of it being because she was his employee, not just his girl. So that I'm controlling your finance. There's the coercion part. I'm paying you. We went over the definitions, the three things that have to be hit for it to be sex trafficking. One of them being a commercial sex act. There is the hiring of the escorts and transporting them in or to wherever they were. So that is that part. The coercion is if I'm in control of basically your money. I got you under contract. You can't do this. You can't do that as far as your music goes. And I'm paying you. There is some level of control there, which could lead to the coercion point. So I think they got him already on the sex trafficking part, personally.
Well, I can't.
No.
You saying
First and foremost, I want to say that what didn't work in Cassie's favor is Puff lawyer Estiva, I think that's her name. She was extremely gentle with Cassie, right? Extremely, and they shared laughs and understanding. I think that may work in the favor of Puff, because a lot of lawyers, they come in, they try to hammer you down and force you to answer questions. So she was gentle with.
Now, Flip is getting better with his commentary on his on the show. Let me know what to think.
Her, and they got on the same accord. But also what I think is that when I listen to this or read on it, like Joe said, Cassie has gotten away a couple of times to even get into a couple of different relationships. Even when she was with Kid Cudi, she still reached out to Puff and was talking about she wants to participate in freak off. So these things right now are, I don't want to say smoking gun, but contradicts what the feds are saying or some of the accusations. Man, do you agree?
Well, I just want to make a point.
So, because Mel get on my fucking nerves, man. Flip makes a great point. You was in a relationship with somebody else, right? So you should have gotten over that situation. But the Stockholm Syndrome. But she went back to Puff while in another relationship. The jury is hearing that. How do you make sense of that, right? I'm pretty sure the prosecution is gonna have some expert witness of Stockholm Syndrome and all that other stuff.
Say that there have been times where actual kidnapped victims, like Elizabeth Smart, where her captor allows her to like go to the store or be out in public. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is somebody who.
But she wasn't kidnapped.
No. I'm using an extreme.
So did you see that? Extreme examples. They always use, which is wild to me. Just trying to make a point. To make P. Diddy look bad. So he is a monster. Let me say that. He is a monster. However, you have to look at the evidence in both individual. What roles are they playing? What's the motivation? This is a weird case, man. When you think out loud about this, but let's go.
Example to demonstrate, because everybody keeps saying, well, she got away at times. Do you know how what the statistics say about domestic violence victims? How long it takes for them to actually leave for good? Yes. It's usually about 6 to 7 times, 6 to 7 different attempts, and they end up going back. And there's a whole psychology that discusses why do victims keep on going back to their abusers or their captors. And I don't think that the vast majority of us are in a position to even discuss this because we just don't have that amount of...
See, but that's where the divide is.
I understand that.
I'm with you. Go down, because I see you getting your... I see it happening. I see it. Come on, slow it down. We talked before.
Oh, I'm fine. I promise.
She's all right. She got it.
What I'm saying is that's where the line is, right? Like, everything you just said is 100% valid. Do you believe that anything that has to do with Cassie's participation falls under the, like you said, Stockholm's, she was young, she was trauma, versus the people that believe that she played more of a part and is not just a victim in this?
I fall on the side of the former. That she was young, because I think it was the defense asked her, do you feel like at the age of 22 that you were a fully formed and consenting adult and whatever the case is? And she apparently kind of looked up and said no. And I think that it's just the side that I'm on. I believe.
See, I call cap on that.
Okay.
Listen, I'm not a legal attorney, so the shit that I'm saying is not. I'm not speaking to what ramifications
so tell me about
things will have cap in court.
What's cap about that?
There's the flip side of that says some of these 22-year-olds know exactly what they're doing and getting themselves into, and they sought that out. Mm-hmm. Shit. I'll go as far as to say that some of these 22-year-olds are led there by their parents even. Mm-hmm. Like we saw that in our Kelly case. So this duality here is all I'm saying. I'm not inserting where I stand on nothing because it's all sensitive.
Well, in R. Kelly, I mean, they were children. They were under the age of consent. So, and their parents served them up on the fucking
That's the biggest difference between R. Kelly.
That is the hugest difference. But also, we sat up here a few weeks ago and talked about Drea and Jalen Green, who is 22 years old or something like that, and basically said he is a child, she's the adult in this situation, and she should know better. So we can't have
I'm not moving the goalposts.
Can't have it both ways.
Wait, Puff is all of the things they say he is.
Yes.
My conversation about Cassie is not to negate what he is.
Mm-hmm.
He is a manipulator, an abuser, and Yeah, all of those things that we said about Dre are in play here still.
And more.
You're dating, and much more.
Yeah.
You're dating a younger girl. You know what you're doing. You know what time it is.
Yeah.
So
And when you are a man of Puff stature, fame, power, influence, wealth, and you got a 19-year-old girl who now at this point, she's talking. They graduated to the point of her being 22. I think that during those ages there was a lot of manipulation and just kind of like and grooming. I know that happened during those years to where, like I said, some prisons don't look like prisons to other people. Well, they can kill people.
okay, well, I want to read to y'all because I just want to present all sides.
Of course.
And y'all.
Of course.
I'm going to read y'all what Willie D had to say because I enjoy Willie D. I absolutely love Willie
That's my
D.
brother. Shout out to Willie D.
Willie D says, I know some of you are about to be tight over what I'm about to say, but I'll take my chances. See, Willie D is brave than the niggas already. He jumping out there, but that's why I fuck with him. I don't have a dog in the fight, but using Cassie's youth as a blanket excuse for the choices she made during her decade-long relationship with Diddy is problematic because it removes the necessary element of accountability, without which no one learns or grows. Diddy and Cassie is a cautionary tale for men who use their money and power to abuse others. On the flip side, it tells young women who will come after Cassie, no matter what you get yourself into and who gets hurt, as long as you are young, you won't be held accountable. By her own admission, she stayed not out of fear, but because she didn't want another woman to take her place. Cassie is not some helpless victim. She is a savvy home-wrecking opportunist who left Ryan Leslie for Diddy, knowing he was with Kim Porter simply to upgrade her lifestyle, turning both Kim and Ryan into collateral damage. And let's not forget the kids. In court, she testified that she enjoyed the freak-offs, just not as often as Diddy did. She ultimately left him for the trainer he paid for, tried to blackmail him for $30 million, and when that failed, sued him and walked away with $20 million. Now that she's the prosecution star witness trying to bury him, yes, Diddy was abusive and should have been punished for it. But let's not pretend Cassie didn't cash in after every black... No, I don't feel comfortable saying.
So I'm going to end right there. I think what Willie D said, or the statement he read from Willie D, is very interesting. Cassie played a willing role in that, man. That's how I took it. And now everybody's on Diddy. Nick, it's time to get paid. That's how I look at it. But let me know what you think. Welcome to the session. Like, comment, subscribe.